Okay, hello everyone. I was asked the past couple days multiple times on like some tips and tricks how to level up a hardcore warrior. So yeah, because I'm too lazy to type, I'll put it in a video here. I'll try to go through the hot topics like what's the best talents, what's the best professions, and maybe try to give you some tips for the leveling process, the early game, and hope you can get something nice out of it. Let's start with races. I think that all horde races are good options. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter which one you choose. I think that at least for myself, the troll is the best option because I really like the berserking, especially if you pair it with like healing potion, uh, popping it below half HP on some bigger kills like the elites and stuff. Where like with Torrent, for example, you can war stomp into hamstring and kind of guaranteed it land unless it misses, of course. um, it doesn't really matter. You can choose whatever race you want. All of them are good. Undead kind of falls behind, but it's not that important. Like you can totally pull it off and level up Undead if you wish to do so. With that said, and I will come back to that later, I really think that Durotar is the best starting zone for Horde, and not Mulgore, not Silver Pine comes even close to that. But we'll get to that later, and my reasoning behind like why I think it's that way. So as for specs, you have a lot of people who prefer playing as arms warrior, and generally Fury is not accepted as a good leveling spec. But I'm a strong advocate of Fury. I really don't think that for solo hardcore challenge arms is the better spec. I just don't agree with that, and I'll try to bring up some reasons why I think this is the case. So if you take a look at arms, and let's talk about some pros and cons of arms spec. Very strong seller for arms is sweeping strikes. Uh, at level 30, you will get sweeping strikes talent that helps you cleave mobs. Generally, the gameplay in that situation is uh, every 30 seconds when you have the sweeping strikes cooldown up, you pretty much pull two mobs and start sweeping. It's very fast for leveling. It's like if you level up in duo with a healer or something, like I would go arms over Fury, like without a doubt. But for solo, I think that unless you like really careful or very experienced with the class, you tend to get stuck in a situation where you pull two mobs, you kill them, or maybe when you are about to kill them, sometimes it happens that you overpull another mob or two, and when you're stuck in a situation where you can't charge, you don't have rage for another sweeps, you're already like a half HP. You have to abort, evade the kill, evade the ads, and rest sideways. And yes, on paper it looks really good that you level very fast with sweeping strikes, but you don't have the sustain unless you like have a healer behind your back. You lack the sustain that comes with overpulling and having to get out of sticky situations. Another very good and strong talent is anger management. With anger management, you can start stance dancing, but like what do you stance dance for? You can stance dance for disarm. At level 36, you can stance dance for a whirlwind. But other than that, like you kind of don't need to do that. It's good for tanking dungeons, but not absolutely necessary. It's very nice to have. Like I miss it when I play arms. I really miss tactical mastery, but it's not an absolutely necessary to pull off the leveling. And of course, at the end, you have the heavy hitter. You have mortal strike, but yeah, I really feel like arms is good for playing in duo or maybe trio or non-hardcore. Yes, however, there's the negative part, and that's the overpulling aspect, and also bleeds. You really would like to get the big crits with impale, and you have to get to them through deep wounds. Deep wounds are really good damage. However, when you get to the sticky situation with deep wounds, which you don't have any control of over, and with overpower, which you really want to use for the big crits, and guaranteed in a way because overpower can't be dodged or parried, I believe. Applying deep wounds effectively prevents you from being able to use intimidating shout into first aid combo. You can have a macro to stop attack, cast intimidating shout, and cast a bandage. And when you're getting really low, that by itself pretty much saves your life. If you do that, you will definitely use it. You can use it on the bigger kills, let's say around level 30, killing the Enraged Panther, killing Steel Snap, Ordanos, things like that. Sharp Talon. That macro is really nice to have. Where with deep wounds, it removes your ability to utilize it properly, and again puts you in a dangerous situation. As for Fury, uh, I did testing pretty much throughout the leveling process, level 30, level 40, 45, with equivalent weapons, and Fury, even dual wielding, is able to do the highest single target damage. It has the DPS output, and that's for me like the major selling point. Because where in arms you can sweep mobs, if you are Fury, you don't sweep them, you just focus target one, focus on your rage generation, and just kill your targets one by one, and like tunnel vision through, and with the damage you are able to, like the higher damage you have, you are able to get out of the sticky situation just simply by over damaging anything that's thrown at you. It really helps with how fast you level, because the more damage you do, the faster you kill mobs, the faster you complete your quest, get your objective, and get out, right? So that's a very good thing. It provides you with versatility because you can use the first aid combo, for example, and pretty much all the talents in Fury, except for the tier 2 talent, are very damage oriented. You have the crit, you have stronger battle shout. I generally tend to go for improved demoralizing shout, because again, when you pull one mob, you don't necessarily need to use it. I still do. If you pull two mobs, like just by clicking one button, you reduce significantly reduce the damage taken from that pull. And then when you have enrage, execute, and other talents, like Bloodthirst is also a heavy hitter. It's not just Mortal Strike. So this is very nice. Also, when you get to level 40, and you get to the choice whether you go with Mortal Strike or Bloodthirst. You have to think about one thing. You will most likely have Whirlwind Axe or the Scarlet Monastery and Razor Fendown swords, so you can dual wield. You can go with Two Hand Fury. You can utilize whatever better weapon you have without the need to respec. And a lot of mobs at level 40 and around level 40 disarm. Like for example, if you get to Tanaris, like these bandits disarm. If you get to Feralas, those ogres disarm. If you get to I don't know, Strangleton Veins, Southern like these swashbucklers in here disarm, and like you can use Bloodthirst even when you're disarmed. And another thing, you can use Overpower even if your main hand is disarmed, if you're dual wielding. So you're not getting steel weapon chain. That's pretty much a no-no. You can't get anti-disarm gloves, so it's another bonus that makes me lean towards Fury, because just simply because of the mobs you're fighting. And yeah, yeah. Also, if you go for improved demo shout, if may you go for even blood craze. It has a very good sustain, where yes, you can kill two mobs with sweeping strikes like really quickly, but then you may need to wait for your charge to come up, or you start hitting another mob, you pull up rage, you kill him very slowly, then you charge into two, and overall, like, the kill speed in Fury is pretty much the same anyways, right? So, and it's safer, so I don't see like really really good reasons to go arms over Fury in a solo leveling environment. Like, I just don't, and I don't think arms is better. Another thing that relates to that is the weapon progression. Yes, in arms you can get nice two hands. Let's say on the horde side you can get the Cauldron Steer at level 10. You can get Axe of Orgrimmar. You can get Zovur Axe. You can then get the stuff from Veiling Caverns, and then you can get Corpse Maker from Razorfen Crow. That's not guaranteed. You can get Strike of Hydra from Black Phantom Depths. That's not guaranteed. Then realistically, at level like 38, you can get your Whirlwind Axe, and after that, you're again kind of sentenced to hope for drops of the bigger two hands, like, I don't know, Diabolic Skiver from Zul'Farrak, Princess Teradra's Scepter from Maraudon, and weapons like that. And there's no clear weapon progression towards the end game. You're just hoping to get something, right? Where in Fury, I really like that the weapon progression is very deterministic, because it's mostly quest rewards. You get your sword from Veiling Caverns. You get your sword from Black Phantom Depths, Scarlet Monastery, Razorfen Downs, Maraudon. It's all guaranteed because it's a quest reward. So you will get those weapons, right? You're not hoping for anything in there. So that's another plus in my book, to lean towards Fury, and specifically dual wielding in Fury. And another thing is also, I think it's really fun. It's just overall more fun spec to play. You just queue up heroic strikes and you pump damage. That's it, right? Like, where in Mortal Strike spec, you kind of have to hamstring kite. And it doesn't mean that you can't hamstring kite in Fury. You can still total hamstring kite in Fury, and actually, like, having Whirlwind Axe in Fury and playing two-hand Fury is very good as well, right? Like, in those level ranges, you can totally do it. what's the cons of Fury? You like the cleave, you like the cleave ability, but it's kind of overcome but by the higher single target DPS and being able to kill one target after another. So yes, it's a downside. If you're playing in group, like with a healer in duo or something like that, I would probably go with arms and not fury. But as for solo, I really think that and fury always did work better for me. Professions. So what are really good professions for hardcore leveling? You can get tailoring and skinning, for example, so that you get bags. Yes, that's pretty much the only thing we can get from tailoring. You can go with skinning and leatherworking. You can go for berserker achievement with leatherworking. That's a good option. However, that probably would need re-rolling professions back and forth because you lack the utility of alchemy pots or grenades and target dummy and things like that, right? Uh, Enchanting is pretty much a no-go because you can get some very very simple enchants. However, you're going to need enchanting rods that are crafted by a blacksmith, and you can't do that. Maybe it's doable in duo to go for like blacksmithing and enchanting, but in single environment, you don't want either of those professions. Blacksmithing uh, pretty much doesn't give you anything throughout the leveling. If you don't want to do dungeons and you think that you're gonna get some gear from blacksmithing, you pretty much don't, because whenever you can craft gear that's actually good, you're already getting same level of gear or maybe even better from quests in that area. And if you would like to craft weapons, like for most of the weapons you need leather anyways, and you have to stop and start fishing, for example, and hope to get some leather so that you can craft yourself some green weapon, and you kind of don't want to do that. What you get from blacksmithing is pretty much what is it, like a ruined bronze bracers. Those you're going to use, and after that, uh, unless you get like rare world drop of green iron armor, any of the pieces of green iron armor, which you're most likely not going to get, like the first thing that you can get from blacksmithing, realistically, it's at the very end game, the Imperial plate set that's crafted from thorium, and now we're talking about level 50 plus area. So blacksmithing pretty much doesn't help you at all the way through until the very end game. So the best professions are either engineering or alchemy. Engineering is really good because you can get early level headpiece, you can get the goggles, you have some grenades, you can craft the precisely calibrated boomstick and finish the quest in Ashenvale, get your blue reward in there, which is a good piece. And you can have target dummy. Target dummy is something that you just drop on the ground and run away. May you get in a sticky situation. It's a lifesaver. You can get gnomish netomatic projector trinket that roots. However, it can backfire, and that means that the very first time it backfires, it pretty much kills you. Learn the hard way, by the way. So I don't think that that is a good option to have. But the target dummy is definitely a strong point, and that's why people do engineering. Like that's the main reason why. You're not getting it soon, and I think that generally, when I drop target dummies, it dies rather fast. So it's really good for like avoiding something and running away, but that's not generally the play I prefer. I just prefer to kill it and move on to the next quest, right? And that's why I prefer alchemy. Alchemy is really good. Very soon in the game, you're getting pretty much all the potions. You're going to have agility potion, strength potion. You have fortitude potion for more HP, throws blood to have the regeneration, and defense to get the armor. So like all 5 pots you can have popped up pretty much all the time, and that totally absolutely offsets, for example, the headpiece. You can craft yourself healing potions, where if you play other profession, you're keeping the health potions. You're saving them to get you out of the sticky situation, instead of using them. Where if you're alchemist and you can craft them yourself, you may be able to use them as a tempo pots to pretty much level up faster. You will always have enough on stock, and that's a good point as well. The potions are obviously getting stronger and stronger. Most of them you learn from the trainer, so it's not something that you need to go ahead out of your way and farm up. The strength potion it's still farmable. It's not that bad, so you can aim for the stronger strength potion. You don't necessarily need to do so. Another thing that's very good about alchemy is that water is currently bugged as hell. Really bad. Like you have mobs like falling through the textures. When you charge a mob underwater, you can get instantly disconnected. Then you drown, right? So having water breathing potions is very nice. Water breathing potions are kind of absolutely necessary when you get to, let's say, like Desolas, for example. You can get free action potions with alchemy. That's a good one when you're fighting rooting mobs like the Gnoll in Feralas, or Centaurs in Thousand Needles, and places like that. Having free action potions is very nice. You can apply shadow oil on frost oil to even further increase your DPS output for the bigger kills, the elites that you may want to farm. You can use frost oil to finish quests in Badlands to get your nifty stopwatch, which is a run speed trinket. So if you don't get your swiftness potion recipe and you run out of the 5 swiftness potions you can get through quests in Barrens and Taran Mill, like you get the trinket and you can pretty much toss the potions, and you have the trinket and utilize the trinket. Sometimes when you get in somewhere deep in a cave, you can just pop invisibility potions and get out, right, without clearing the way back out. So that's a good one as well. Overall, alchemy I think is the best option for solo warrior. Yeah, and that would be it. I'll try to put in some tips for the leveling and kind of weapon progression. Out of the 4 starting zones, Silverpine, Mulgore, and Durotar, I really think that Durotar is by far the best choice. First of all, it's kind of small, so it's close to run back and forth in Durotar. Also, pretty much anything you kill in Durotar, at least at the very start, is very good for you. So when you get out of Valley of Trials, that you can do like definitely in like 45 minutes, less than an hour, you get to Senjin Village, pick up the quest, you head to Razor Hill. Along the way, you have boar and scorpions. The boar drop meat that you need for cooking or you really want to use for cooking, you want to keep it. You have scorpions who drop the scorpion stinger, which is again really good for cooking. And on top of that, the boar drop a lot of tusks and they sell a lot for a lot at the vendor. You can you can just grind them every time you go north or south. And in Senjin village, you can buy 5 slot bags. So that's a nice thing to keep in mind that if you do grind the mobs and you sell the valuable stuff, you just grab the bags and you farm even more. It's nice to get to Orgrimmar really soon, learn cooking and herbalism. You don't necessarily need to learn alchemy immediately. I actually like to learn mining in Razor Hill and just start mining everything. Then I get to Orgrimmar, I start herbing everything, and I have double gathering profession. You smelt all the copper and then just vendor it for double the price of the ore, and you keep the stone. Whenever you get, let's say, to level 10 or approximately to level 10, you drop mining. You obviously smelt everything and sell it. You drop mining, learn blacksmithing, craft all the stone into sharpening stones. Then you drop blacksmithing and learn alchemy, pop up the pots and head to Barrens, head to Crossroads. I don't do Skull Rock because you only need to do Skull Rock pretty much right before you go to the dungeon, right before you go to RFC. There's no need to use the Minisha School and try to clear Skull Rock at level 10. Obviously, it's deadly. Gazus is really strong, killing people left and right every day. You can see it. Same applies to Fizzle. You don't want to tackle Fizzle soon. So for Minisha School specifically, I like to use it a little later in Barrens, and I'll tell you soon. At level 10, you want to finish the warrior quest really quickly, get the defensive stance, and then head to Barrens, get on top of the hill, continue with the warrior quest, grab the ingot at the Quillbore area, and get your green one-handed axe or dagger or whatever you choose, most likely axe, right? So you can get your one-handed weapon and have a shield. A lot of people go with Cauldron Steer, so you can do the Mulgore run. You can do the Barrens Oasis quest that sends you to Mulgore. You can go to Thunder Bluff and grab your staff and start swinging the staff. I generally don't like it because you take a lot of damage and the starting armor values are low. And the more armor you get, very soon, the better the mitigation. It has more value percentage-wise because there's the diminishing returns on armor value. So I generally tend to go with the shield and one-hander all the way till level 20, pretty much. I do RFC at level 16, so at like level 15, maybe even 16, you do go back to Durotar, do the Skull Rock, do the RFC, get your Axe of Orgrimmar, you may wish so. That's nice. I usually go with Axe of Orgrimmar and then I kill the Harpies, and when I kill the Harpies, and Serena Bloodfeather specifically, I tend to get the one-handed sword. I get the one-handed sword, then I do the Sum of Lunch quest to get the shield. Both the sword and the shield have stamina on it, so you have 3 stamina sword, you have 3 stamina shield. You do the Pirates quest where you get like bracers and boots and belt, and at, let's say, level 20, you also want to go to the Kemtaracho and do the Twitching Antenna quest, which rewards you with +6 stamina chest piece. That's a guaranteed chest piece you get over there. At level 20, you have all these stamina items, And with those, you can very comfortably, at level 20, tank Wailing Caverns for your group. And in Wailing Caverns, then it depends on you and what you want to play. Do you want to play with staff? Get your crests and staff. If you want to dual wield, maybe you're even lucky and get the Stinging Viper. Get the Wing Blade, start dual wielding straight away at level 20. And you head to Stone Talon Mountains, right? So that's the opener that works best for me. You in Durotar, you farm up everything, you buy bags, you get your sharpening stones, you sell all the copper bars, then you drop the profession, make your pots, start leveling in Crossroads. Oh, and the Minisha School. I like to keep the Minisha School for the very first quests in Crossroads. Specifically, I use it on Krennic's Narslout because it's like level 14 or maybe even 15. And that area with the Geomancers throwing fireballs at you and your overall low stamina, because that's the very first quests you actually do in Crossroads, right? You do the Plainstriders, maybe some Zebra, and you do this Quillboar. That works really well to use the Minisha School on him because you don't want to die there and you don't need it in Skull Rock or in Durotar for killing Fizzle. You just go do those quests like later on when you're like level 15, 16 and kind of over level it. It's nice to be level 16 before you go into Skull Rock because you have Shield Bash and you can interrupt the casts, right? And that those cast interrupts are really good for the Harpies, for example, as well, that cast the Wing Gust at you to root you in place, or do the poisons and stuff like that. You can use it north of Camp Tauracho when you're killing the Geomancers in there and stuff. So it's nice to have shield to mitigate a lot of the damage, and it might be slower than leveling with the Cauldron Stirrer, but it's definitely safer, and at this point you don't want to waste your time because you really want to get further to level 20 rather safely, and at level 20 you pretty much get way better gear out of all the quests in Crossroads and in Barrens generally, and Wailing Caverns, and then you are very well set to progress and level up in Stone Talon Mountains and Southern Barrens. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's the opener I would generally suggest to everyone starting a warrior, solo hardcore on the horde side, because this generally works the best for me. And I hope that you find this information useful. And see you out there. Stay safe.